Man, oh man, Molly Qerim, ESPN First Take moderator. Man, she ain't playing no games, man. She ain't holding no punches back when it comes to Stephen A. Smith. Any chance that she can get to get back at Stephen A. Smith, oh, she's letting loose. And we're going to unpack all that here next, here on the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Man, oh man. Hey, we covered a show earlier today about Stephen A. Smith when he announced his top 3 Robins coming up in this NBA playoffs. Now, the NBA playoffs start on Saturday, and Stephen A. Smith had a list of the top 3 Robins that he would consider that are in the NBA right now. And he had LeBron James at number 1. And a lot of people say Stephen A. Smith been trolling. Stephen A. Smith is being petty. And Brian Windhorst called him out on the bullshit that Stephen A. Smith is doing. Now, we all know, it's well documented that LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith had a little beef going on, but it's kind of calmed down over these last couple weeks. But a lot of people have came out and spoke about Stephen A. Smith, said that he was caught up in his own web of lies, and whatever him and LeBron had going on, it kind of made Stephen A. Smith a little bit more boisterous. And like LeBron said, he went on a Taylor Swift tour and was sticking his chest out, saying a lot of, things. And LeBron James was on the Pat McAfee show and gave Pat McAfee the interview. And, LeBron went on there and he stated that, he had no problem with Stephen A. Smith critiquing Bronny as a basketball player. But when he crossed the lines about fatherhood and pleading and begging LeBron as a father to stop this, that's where he crossed the line. And LeBron took exception to it and pulled up on him at a game when the New York Knicks was in LA at the Crypto.com Arena, and LeBron pulled up on him at the end of the third quarter on national TV. Stephen A. Smith had to address it. And ever since then, Stephen A. Smith been looking real bad. People been calling him out for all the lies in this situation. Now he goes on ESPN First Take, and he has to defend what he had to say about LeBron being a Robin. He's the number 1 Robin in today's NBA playoffs. And Brian Windhorst saw all through the bullshit. He said, Stephen A., you're trolling and different things. And then Molly had some things that she had to say. And Molly basically said, Stephen A., you are trolling. You are doing too much. You're being petty. But we're going to take it a step further, because somebody sent me some information about what Molly said that a lot of people didn't catch up on. A lot of people was not paying attention to what Molly said. And that's why Molly was basically saying, Stephen A., you need to cut this out. You being petty. And we know you trolling. How is LeBron going to be a Robin to Luka? And see, this thing got layers to it. Just because LeBron James said, this is Luka's team now, Stephen A. considers LeBron as a Robin. Now, we didn't have this same conversation when Russell Westbrook was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, when LeBron said, this is basically Russ's team. But nobody came out and said that LeBron was a Robin. Stephen A. didn't come out and say LeBron was a Robin then. Even countless of times, LeBron James said, this is Anthony Davis's team before he got traded to the Dallas Mavericks. He was trying to reiterate this. I done gave the keys to Anthony Davis. This is his team. So where was the conversation about LeBron being a Robin then going into the playoffs? Now all of a sudden, just because it's Luka Doncic, Stephen A. Smith saying LeBron James is a Robin. And Molly Qerim checked him on that and said, when is LeBron going to go into the playoffs saying, hey, I'm going to be a Robin? We're talking about LeBron James, a 4-time NBA champion, 4 times finals MVP. With all the accolades and all the things that LeBron has achieved in the NBA in 22 years, like Molly said, is LeBron going to go into a playoff series saying that I am a Robin? Come on now. LeBron James always goes on the floor considering himself the best player out there. So there's no difference in this scenario when you got Luka Doncic on the team. Just because Luka Doncic handles the ball more, shoots the ball more, doesn't mean that LeBron James is a Robin. So Molly Qerim, she stuck it to Stephen A. Smith really where it counted. But before we get off into what Molly Qerim said, right now, guys, I have eclipsed 17,000 subscribers. I'm at 17,028. I appreciate all the love and support. And if you're just now new to the platform, you're coming across any of my videos, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. And with the love and support that I have from you guys, let's try to get me to 17,500. I know it's achievable. But let's get off into what this argument all stemmed around. And I want you guys to pay close attention to what Molly Qerim said at the end of the segment. And she stuck it to Stephen A. Smith right where it counted. So let's take a listen.
Team now. Who said that on camera? What's his name? What was his name? I'm looking right at you. Who said that on national television? Wasn't that you? Did you say that? Did you not say that?
Wendy,
yes, no?
Yes. Wendy, can I just talk to just Wendy for a second? Wendy, when I think of Batman and Robin, I think of Batman, Robin. When I think of Luka,
that's not what I was saying.
Well, that's what I think of. When I think of Luka and LeBron, I think more of like a beautiful partnership, a beautiful marriage.
What we have here is a world-class statesman doing elite trolling.
This
is elite trolling. I'm complimenting you.
Can you give me this? Can you give me this?
Trolling.
If I were trolling, would I deny it? I mean, can you at least give me that, Molly, Peter?
That's fair.
That's a reasonable thing to say.
You would troll with your chest out.
Wendy, let me ask you a question. 5 seconds left in a critical game in the playoffs. Who's getting the ball for the Lakers?
Yeah, but that's
that doesn't
a
make you a
loaded question.
I think it makes you Batman. You give the ball to Batman.
All I'm saying is you can be. Listen, we all know who LeBron is and how phenomenal he is. I'm saying to you, I just gave you facts, not just numbers, but his position and his willingness to defer and what you said about him. And all I'm saying, that's not throwing shade. In other words, your number 2 option. This is what we're talking about.
Your case
the best
is fine.
elite one, but that's what he is right now.
We'll leave it there. Wendy, you get the last word.
Your case is beautiful.
Yes.
But we're not talking about this in a vacuum. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that,
If I was trolling, I would say so. I would say I'm trolling, I don't give a damn.
Well
but that's
done.
not what I'm doing.
Right.
I gave you
that's
facts.
Fair. That's fair. I think Pat McAfee might have a visitor against him.
Now, you heard what Molly Qerim said at the end. That was beautiful. And I like how Molly Qerim is now finding that confidence just to fit in where she's supposed to fit in as a moderator. Because we've seen in the past how Stephen A. Smith has shut Molly Qerim down. Shannon Sharp has shut her down. A lot of people have shut Molly Qerim down to a point on some of the shutdowns against Molly Qerim. Sometimes she's almost moved to tears because they put Molly Qerim in her place and trying to tell her to stay in the place of a moderator. But in this case, Molly Qerim got her chest out. Molly Qerim, she stuck it to Stephen A. Smith where it counted because she said that somebody is going to pay Pat McAfee another visit. And you know who she was referring to? LeBron James. She hit Stephen A. Smith with a low blow, and Stephen A. Smith didn't even know where it came from. And Molly, just any chance she get now, Molly is firing back at Stephen A. Smith for all the stuff that she's endured in the past, and she's letting loose. And you know, another example of what Stephen A. Smith does, you see how he try to lift LeBron up and then bring him right back down in the same soliloquy. But Brian Windhurst and Molly Qerim, they see him right through the bullshit. Molly hit Stephen A. Smith so low that Stephen A. Smith probably had to say something to Molly after the show, because Molly Qerim, she did not hold no punches, and she spoke nothing but the truth. She said somebody's gonna pay Pat McAfee another visit. I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was comical, but Molly did the right thing, because Stephen A. Smith is trolling at this point. Stephen A. Smith is being real petty. And see, people are seeing through what Stephen A. has been saying. Stephen A. got a microphone and his mic is the loudest. And people are just now seeing Stephen A. Smith for who he is. Just because you make $100 million don't mean you the man. That means you made it. You know, the road was well traveled. You deserve everything that you got, but also you deserve everything that's coming at you from these different media personnel, media pundits, even your moderator. Let's give a round of applause for Molly Qerim, because she just hit Stephen A. Smith with a low blow. I see everybody in the comments section. #salute. If you're not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, turn your post notifications on so you know every time Simply Ball drops another hot banger. And I do want to appreciate all my new subscribers. Everybody's been hitting me up, telling me they love what I'm doing. They love the shows I'm producing about Stephen A. Smith, and people are tuned in, and people are starting to subscribe to the channel. It's big things on the way, man. So stay tuned, man. And this is going to wrap up another episode of the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. I'm your host and the man behind the mic, K-Sap. We're going to catch you on the next one. Deuces. Oh, yeah. I must have forgot. Tell a friend to tell a friend. It might not be for you, but it might be for them. Deuces.
Thanks for listening to the Simply Ball Dropping Podcast. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share on all major platforms.
That's all, folks.